Good evening. On behalf of Major League Baseball, we welcome you to the MLB Network for our 2019 draft.
Kind of looked in the mirror and was like, hey, you got one more year to do this thing, like one more season to showcase yourself, to get to where you want to be. Like, it's time to really make that investment and take that next step.
A very low percent of those types of guys go on to make the transformations necessary to get drafted.
It was really when he was a senior in college and a lot of expectations, and he started the year out not pitching well. Then we went to LSU and he was like lights out. I remember saying to myself, just turned his whole life around.
I'm Declan Cronin. I'm a right-handed pitcher originally from Montclair, New Jersey. I would say I started with T-ball in Montclair. Don't have a ton of memories about it, but know that I did kind of the normal progression of T-ball to coach pitch to kid pitch, and didn't really start playing like travel baseball till I was 8 or 9 years old.
And I do recall very early on, I think Declan was 8 or 9 years old, and each year around the holidays, I would bring him into my office. My boss, Jim, saying to him, so Declan, what do you want to do when you get older? Like very solemnly. And Declan very seriously, very confidently said, I'm going to be a professional baseball player.
I think like one of the biggest things we were raised on was to do things the right way. If it's harder, it doesn't matter. There's a reason why you do things the right way. It's rewarding and it's how it's supposed to be. I was lucky enough to have a group of upperclassmen, juniors and seniors, show me the ropes of what it meant to pitch at the college level, and also, showed me what it meant to actually work hard and work towards goals. When I first got to college, the goal was, how do I get innings on this team? Because my freshman year, I think I threw 14 innings or something like that in 7 games and didn't pitch till at least halfway through the season. So how do I just become a go-to guy on the pitching staff? Junior year of college was probably really when the idea of, I could maybe get drafted if I figure it out in the next year and a half. I was all in on it and I became obsessed with it.
At that time, Declan was really an average college pitcher. He was an upper 80s righty, really just a stock righty, about as average as you can get for a D1 college pitcher. Initially, Declan was about 215 pounds. We knew that we could get him to 225 or 230 pounds in that first year, and he was also only 87 to 90 miles an hour. So we knew that if we could get him to around 92 to 94 miles an hour, he would have a decent shot of getting drafted. And so I told him, look, all these goals are very realistic, but there's a huge difference between having a goal and actually following through on that goal with a very specific, methodical plan to get there. I'm going to be able to give you the how-to, what you need to do to get there, but you ultimately need to follow through on that and do everything in your power to make these changes happen. And so for Declan, it was the nutrition aspect. It was cleaning up his arm action. It was dialing in his lifting form in the weight room. I tried to keep his perspective very much focused on what's that next 200 feet.
Work with the 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3.
This is spot. You can see the catcher kind of set him down the way. Watch this ball right up and in, and Garza could not catch up to it.
Declan Cronin strikes out the side here in the second. 4 Ks for the senior right-hander through his first 2 innings of work.
Holy Cross wins game 2 of the doubleheader, 6-5. What a performance by Cronin.
I think if I don't make that velocity jump to being, at times 92, 94 versus 89, 90 the year before, then I'm not, really on anyone's radar. The draft was tough for sure. I'm on the draft tracker just seeing, other names called, not me, not me, not me. So I threw on a movie, turned off my phone, turned off the tracker, kind of resigned myself to my fate at that point. I'm like, it's not meant to be. Like, nobody's called me all day. It just might not be in the cards. All of a sudden, I start seeing messages pop up in the right-hand corner of the screen. And the first one I saw was from Danny Barlock, my roommate. And he's like, no way, dude, like, congrats, like, White Sox. And I was like, what? So I flip over to the website, I see White Sox took me in the 36th round. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like, is that real? Like, that's my name right there. The chances of a 36 rounder making it to the major leagues are not high at all.
Tonight he has 3. And he swings.
For me, like, the thing's always just been like, get a foot in the door and prove you belong and just keep doing that all the way up.
0-2 strikes. Both sides are 0 for 2. Here's the pitch. Got him reaching.
The 7th inning down in St. Petersburg. Swing and a miss. Slider got him.
Next pitch. Kerstad can't find a swing and a miss.
Fingers flapping on the handle of the bat for Fuentes. The 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Put down by the slider of Cronin.
Swing and miss.
Your name was just called to pitch in a Major League Baseball game.
Major League debut of Declan Cronin.
That was probably like the biggest shock value moment. Once I started to warm up on the bullpen mound and that sort of thing, things started to feel a little bit more familiar. Every once in a while I'd look up and be like, oh, and like, nope, let's just stay focused on this. Like, we don't want to get overwhelmed with this moment.
He's going to remember this moment the rest of his life.
It's okay to like treat this like it's a big deal. Like, I think some guys are like, oh, this is whatever, man. Like, no, like, it's pretty sweet. Like, this is like your childhood dream you're living out.
His first ever pitch in Major League Baseball, a 36th round pick out of Holy Cross. 6th inning brought to you by the Illinois Lottery, and the first pitch is fouled away.
His entire life.
Gulp to the ear, short right field. Colas charging, and his former teammate in AAA handles out number 1 of Declan Cronin's Major League career. Was .453 as that backed up almost into him, 2 down.
A lot of good pitching. There is strike 3 call
From him this evening.
Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw it on to second, pitch in a barrel, see ya. Throw, swing and a miss, strike 3. Cronin lands a slider, strike 3.
It's like very cliche to just say that like hard work pays off. If you're realistic with yourself, but also dream big, then I think you find yourself in like a beautiful zone where you can actually accomplish some pretty special things.
Declan is just a really great example of you never really know what someone's capable of. Very few people would have projected that Declan could have been a big league pitcher.
For me, I had a greater than 0% chance of being a Major League Baseball player, and I decided to kind of pour everything I had into that.
It's up to us to do everything we possibly can to chase after our dreams, seek out the experts, seek out the people who've been where you're trying to go, learn as much as you possibly can from them. You're going to fail quite a bit, but just continue persevering through that. Just because something's a long shot doesn't mean that it's not worth going after.
Labore creata. It's like Latin. This one means created through labor. I feel like it kind of speaks to my journey.
I was realistic about the fact that like the odds were long, but not 0. And then I did have a chance, and obviously, it worked out.